2002 Honda Civic sedan.
Dando y dando, Honda Civic volando, el motor se paga si no estás escuchando. Ay, bendito sea Dios.
What we have here is the car. The car that looks like it was designed by Acclaim in the late 90s. It's a car whose aesthetic is a wild card. Here we go. The Civic. This is the closest thing to an original Beetle in this modern world America. Pick it up, pick it up. If you announce that you're getting a Honda Civic, everybody's dad says, "Oh, that's a good car. Yeah, that's a 4-cylinder, right? You like that Civic? That's good on gas." And in the background, Grandma says, "Oh, be careful." Introduced in the year 2000, the 7th generation Civic won Car of the Year Japan Award. For the same reason the Chevy Malibu wins awards and Miller Lite wins Best Light Beer. Now, the baseline model 7th generation Civic features a 4-cylinder engine that makes horsepower. The only one you're supposed to care about is the 1.8-liter iVTEC that makes 138 horsepower, which this car doesn't have. But what this car does have is McPherson struts and a 4-speed automatic. You're not supposed to care about the engine. What does it do? It purrs like the farts of a healthy man. And its exterior is more or less the same size as previous models, but it's bigger on the inside, like a TARDIS or a stripper. It's a car for the guy who's down to clown. In fact, this generation of Civic was bumped up in size. See, before it was considered a subcompact, and now it's a compact. And it sold well. Just 4 years into its run, this was number 7 among the top-selling cars in the United States, and was number 3 among best-selling passenger cars. Hate on the Civic all you want, but it has the success that's often imitated, but never duplicated. Like Sharon Stone back in the Basic Instinct era, or Demi Moore back when Indecent Proposal came out. Yeah, that was some Save Her DNA level hotness there. And the Civic brought a similar level of appeal. Not that you'd bang a Civic or anything. Of course, just like the second act of a movie about a famous musician, any successful car is going to have its decline. And in 2010, roughly 117,000 Civics from this generation were recalled in North America due to problems with the ignition interlock system. From gradual wear and tear, key out, in and out, in and out, in and out, the key barrel could end up damaged in such a way that the ignition key could be removed, and if you had an automatic transmission, you could just move the shifter anywhere. You're not supposed to be able to take the key out unless this thing is in park. So the moral of the story? Drive manual. But it's an automatic, as most Civics are in North America. Look down at the gear indicator. It's a 4-speed, right? But no number 1. You can't force the auto box to stay in first gear. No one, no fun. It drives like study hall, benign and predictable. Now here's the taint of the matter. The 7th generation Civic understeers like a concert marimba. That's a joke for my band nerds. A concert marimba is 250 pounds. It's about the size of a Harley-Davidson Fat Boy, and it costs more than you. Seriously, what's the idea of having a concert marimba in marching band? I know the sound carries, but I'm expected to, oh yeah, it's time to go to, let's take this thing, haul it from the band room all the way down to the football field. If you want to know what it's like to push a concert marimba, get a shopping cart, fill it up with wrought iron window weights, and try to push it through the narrow doors of your school without knocking into anything. Oh, the life of a percussion section. And the Barry sax players complain that their instrument is heavy. Another thing, why should it understeer in the first place? I'm talking about the Civic again. The 7th generation Civic, even in a base model, has independent rear suspension. My brain hurts just thinking about this. You gave a cheap car very expensive suspension. It's good suspension, thank you for doing it, but why isn't it doing anything? I thought Indy suspension all around would make the car corner neutral, or as neutral as it could be around corners. Hell, the Fiesta ST is a front-wheel drive car with a torsion bar rear setup, and that little fun machine wants to rotate into bends. Civic? Nope, just front end push. I can only think of 2 reasons. 1, blame the tires, and 2, blame Honda itself. The OEM tires for the Honda Civic are those hard, low-rolling resistance tires, because they gotta get that MPG rating up so they can sell more of these things. They're gonna put these hard tires on that don't do anything. And now to blame Honda itself. Positively, it's a good thing that the base Civic understeers so quickly. Honda knows its audience and wants to keep them alive and out of danger. Understeer is safer and less panic-inducing to unenthusiasts. If you drive too fast while taking a turn, you'll just slide off the road. And that's super easy. It's super logical. It makes sense. I mean, imagine if this Civic could corner like it was built to. Well, you'd have people taking corners way too fast because they're not given any warning. That's what I experienced about the Ford Focus ST and the Ford Fiesta ST. You can take those corners really fast before the car starts to tell you you're doing something weird. The base model Civic fills a very important role. It's a good car for people who really aren't into driving, but they're into a little bit of quality. Because this car warns you more than anything else I've driven that you're starting to go a little bit too fast. But when you're driving a base model Civic and those tires start to squeal, you're far away from losing it. As opposed to a Fiesta ST, when the brakes start squealing, you're a little bit closer to losing it. And if you're driving something like a Lotus Elise, when those tires start squeaking, you have about a half second before your ass is grass. So, while the Civic comes across as a car for the Harold Slavinskys of the world, I bought this car from Dan Arnotts. It has an appeal beyond its middle-class aspirations. It's easy to imagine that this could end up being a first car for plenty of teenagers whose parents have come to trust the overall reliability and safety of the Honda Civic. They feel that it's a solid, well-made vehicle that will keep the kids in one piece. Of course, little do they know that it's going to be used for banging freshmen and tray sliding and playing chicken atop Do Stuff Peak, but that's neither here nor there. That kid will grow to appreciate a smooth ride and a well-handling car, in his mind, and he'll carry that appreciation into his next purchase, even if he doesn't appreciate the other things in life, like oversteer. Because some people are just destined to end up being the guy whose girlfriend has to smell his dick when he gets home from the bar, just to be sure.
Civic, so there you are, with that look on your face, as if we never like the cars that we talk about. But if you dug this review, then share, comment, like, and subscribe. And if you have cars, you can contact us through our Gmail.
Things ain't going too good for old Harold Slavinsky. My wife left me for Dan Arnotts.